Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Outside Elland Road show. After our 2-week hiatus, we are back, we are recording on the 29th of the 12th. It's a Monday, which I just found out, and I'm here with Matty from Imagine Not Being Leeds, Matty Foster. Hey, Matty, how are you doing?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm good, pal. Thank you. It's been a nice Christmas for me and my household, and Leeds aren't doing too bad, mate. I hope you and Mr. Bossnass over there are doing well.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I will ask. I'm the host. I will ask him. And yeah, Dan for Late Night Leeds, aka Bossnass. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, steady away, mate. Nice break for the Christmas season. Feeling refreshed. So yeah, not bad. Good.
You feeling refreshed already?
Not really, but you just say
No,
these
you
things,
lied,
but
didn't you? Yeah, it's just the right thing to say. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
fine. Yeah, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, good. Yeah, right, everyone. We'll get straight into it. Leeds United, decent result at Sunderland. I was actually just, I was disappointed because I think we played well. Matty, how did you feel about it? The
I mean,
game.
I was. It's going to sound a bit daft, really, but I felt after the game I was sort of overjoyed because been a lot of pressure for me personally. You know, I have another channel, Imagine Not Being Leeds, bit of a crossover channel show as well with another Sunderland fan. So I'm sort of in the firing line. A lot of Sunderland fans watch my content as well, so I've been a bit nervous in the build up to that. Obviously, we're in really good form, but we haven't done well on the road this season. And obviously, the massive turnaround from Farke, a month or so ago, I didn't even want him to be in the dugout anymore, and he's turned it round. And to go somewhere like Sunderland, even though they're missing a few players, and feel disappointed we didn't get 3 points shows us where where we were and where we are now. Back to back away results. 2 draws away at Brentford, down in London. We never do well there. Then to back it away, going up to Sunderland, you can't be too down about Adam. I understand where you're coming from. We played really well. I mean, I even said at one point we battered them, and I'll stick with that. And I know they had pockets of time in that game towards the start of the game and towards the end where they had a lot of possession. If you look at the momentum graph, they definitely had moments, but for the long periods of that game, we looked really good. And for me, you want the points, lads. It's all about points for a side like us this season. But the performances as well are what are important for me because that continues that momentum. And if we keep our performances at that sort of level, the points will come, and that's what you're seeing. So I was very happy, probably one of the happiest Leeds fans. I think I've turned it a bit of a happy clapper these last few weeks, boys. But I'm just buzzing. Yeah, we move on, take a point. Yeah, we have, mate. Yeah.
I should explain why I was a bit miffed by it. I think most games we go into this season, we have. I mean, the opposition will have 7, 8, 9, 6, whatever it is, better players in their 11. And I didn't feel like that was the case against Sunderland. And I think that was with them missing a few. And I think that was reflected in the performance and how we did. I think we were a better side for the majority. Bossness, how did you feel about it?
Going into the game, I got to be straight with you. I would have took a point. So it was a bit of a roller coaster kind of expectation wise during the game for me because going in I would have took a point, and then after the first 5-10 minutes I'd have definitely taken a point. But as the game grew into it and we stopped being that team that was passing it around the back a little bit too much for me, and we grew into the game, started looking a bit sharper, passing a bit quicker, grew into the game enough at the halfway point, you'd probably say. Came out the second half, and I don't know what Farke did at half time, but whatever he did was the right thing because we came out, and then up to I'd say like the last 10 minutes, we bossed that game. We was in control of the game. We was in control of the tempo of the game. We had more quality on the ball. We had more composure in what we was trying to do. So from say minute 45 to I would say 77. I would say I wanted the 3 because at that point I thought we'd earned the right to play, and we'd actually put the performance in to come away from that and say we'd earned the 3 points at that point. Nervy end to the game, coming into the last 5 minutes, and then the added on minutes, I was ready to get out of there. At that point, I was ready to get out of there with the point that we'd got because I just felt that if somehow Sunderland did find another moment of quality from either through a Dingra or an Enzo Lafay, that would have been, that'd have been a dagger to the heart, I think, because of the effort the boys had put in. So going in, I'd have taken a point. Towards back in the game, I wanted the 3, but still happy with the point.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think before the match, being happy with a point makes a lot of sense because I mean no one's won there this season, but during the match, saying the way it panned out, and I just think we were a better side all round. I think we were a better side. We were a better side on paper as well as on the pitch.
You've made a great point there, Adam, as well, because most weeks, something you said there about being better on paper, most weeks you look at the opposition, don't you? And the multitude of their squads built up with better caliber players than what Leeds United have, and that's probably how it should be. You first see it up there, but I've never really looked at that with Sunderland. I would say on paper, with a few that were missing, fair enough. We probably did have the better side on paper. So when you look at that, I know it's away from home and their form, but maybe it is a game you should be targeting as well. And I think the fact that they came up with us, it's clouded a little bit as judgment because of how well they're doing, but they are a newly promoted side. We lost to Burnley. That was a poor result, obviously. A point at Sunderland. You do need to be taking points off these sides. So, yeah, something I didn't really think about when you look at we're probably one of the few teams this season, Adam. We probably did have a better starting 11 than.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, this is the Siddiqui, Traore, Ronaldo, left back.
Ronaldo, yeah.
It's not Ronaldo, is it? Like they weren't missing Ronaldo. But yeah, I just think we were a better team, and I think that I think that was a reflection in performance. I think we were, like Dan said, we were very good about 25 minutes in when we settled in. In the second half, we started being braver on the ball. I think first half we took the easy option so regularly, as in who was free, turn back, give it back to a centre back, pass it between each other for a little while, give it back to Perry, kicks it long back fairly badly. They recycle the ball until we get it back again. They weren't really any great threat. I mean, they scored the goal, which fair was a very good goal. Do you, Matty, any fault in that goal, Leeds United wise?
It's first glance, mate. Quality ball by Xhaka. A no look reverse pass. That's what that's what he can do. He's one of the best signings anyone's made in the Premier League. He's right up there, really. He's their linchpin. If they don't sign him, they're 4, 5, 6 points lower for me, 100%. So I wasn't surprised to see that. But you've got to talk about the Rodon incident. 2 tackles that happened on Rodon. First one, it looked bad. Whether he thinks a bad tackle or not, the way it affects Rodon, twist of the ankle. The second one, I think I can't believe he didn't get booked for it. I think it's a bit reckless. It's not. He wins the ball, yes, but either way, whether you think it's a foul or not, it's 2 bad sort of moments for Rodon. But the fact he's still on the pitch, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite here and say, with hindsight, you should have got him off, because I was sat here watching it going, come on, run it off. You can run it off Rodon, like probably the majority of Leeds fans were doing. You think, and he tried, bless him, he tried. But a fully fit Rodon probably plays an England offside, then he gets up with rest of defence, or he gets back and he cuts that shot out and blocks the shot. So I actually think his eagerness to stay on the pitch, which you've got to merit him, where you've got to say, well done, we want players like that. We don't want people who are pushovers. We've seen that last time we were in Premier League, players not want to play for a club, and he bleeds for that shirt, and you want that. But I think in the grand scheme of things, for that moment and that goal, it probably cost us. But him going off eventually probably was the catalyst to why we performed so well, weirdly, changing the formation. Because a little bit like City, it happened mid-game, did the switch, and they would have been expecting us at any point to go to a back 4. But yeah, I think the goal, it was a moment of quality, but there was a gaping gap there, but were left by an injured player that was fighting on heart and not on his legs, really, lads. I don't know what you think of the Rodon situation, but
I think I've seen a few people say he was targeted. Not for me. I mean, he was a bit heavy-handed. Dan, is there anything in that, in being targeted through this? I mean, there's a couple of, I say heavy-handed challenges, but I don't think there's much more than that in it.
Rodon being targeted is in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he was targeted.
Let's break him.
That's
it's into try and put someone on him or
yeah.
Him as weak link. To put
No,
someone on him.
as in leave a few on him.
No, I don't think there's anything in that at all. I think that's. I don't know. I think that's a stretch. I think that's pushing the narrative there. I would say that from what I saw of the tackles, I don't think there was any intention to hurt Rodon in those 2 tackles. I genuinely, I think it's a case of it's rare that 2 tackles go in like that, and the player being Rodon comes down awkwardly, loses his balance awkwardly to kind of create that pressure point, which causes the foot and the ankle to bend. I genuinely think that both of those things were coincidental. I think it was accidental on the part of the Sunderland players.
It's an aggressive press in it, Dan, which is, if they do catch him, they have left somewhat on him, but they won the ball. It's an aggressive press in it,
Yeah, if you're Sunderland, you're probably commending the aggression and the commitment, really. in games where you've got two teams, which I would argue are on a fairly similar level, there's got to be something which wins a game. So whether that be tactics, press, aggression, commitment. So you probably want all, you're asking your team for all four of those things. I think Sunderland would just try to play hard and fast football and committed football. And I genuinely think it was not coincidental. I think it was unfortunate, and I think it was awkward the way he came and his pressure and his body weight kind of went onto his ankle. But I don't think there was any targeting in there. No.
No, I think it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, if you're pulling wide slightly, the tackle's coming from the side of you. The player's always going to come in a little bit harder because they're sprinting across to get. And if you hold it just for that second, not saying he held it for too long, but you held it just right amount of time so they think they can get the ball, can't quite, then they don't quite get it. That's what happens, and it was really unfortunate. There was two occurrences of that. Second half, Matty, as Dan said as well, about we started being much braver on the ball. I think we're braver in the press as well. I think we went man to man in the press. I think we're much more aggressive off the ball, but on the ball we were so much braver, and that what was born out from that was one of the best goals we'll probably see this season.
Unreal, mate. Like I said, first half tempo was slow, a lack of bravery. Half time, whatever he's done to them at half time, they've come out firing, and just I love how we've gone direct at times this season, because why wouldn't you when you've got a player as capable as DCL who can get you up the pitch? Why? We've seen this season, especially away from home, Brighton, Arsenal, decent caliber of player and opposition you're up against, but playing out from the back every single time you get the ball as a goalkeeper is suicide at this level, unless you've got the players for it. Using it and varying your play and doing it now and again when the opposition maybe thinks he's going to go long and they haven't got the opportunity to press you as quickly because they're already 3 or 4 yards deeper because they're anticipating the long ball, because you've done that for the last four clearances. You have the opportunity then to do that where we do build up from the back. And that goal that happened, a minute and a half into the second half, was just unbelievable, mate. Like what a goal. And we've been told after 4 set piece goals against Palace, I've seen a lot of people giving Leeds sticks, saying, they've only got one play, it's route one, it's boring football, it's hoofball. I've heard that quite a lot online about Leeds. It's not hoofball at all. There hasn't been one part in this period of 6 games, especially, lads, where I thought this is boring football. It's been efficient. It's been a mixture of we've been varying as play, and that there is proof for everyone to see that, yes, playing that way out from the back all the time was a problem, and it became a problem for Leeds United. But varying that play works, and when we do it and we do it well, that Farker ball, that build up from the back, we have got the players who can do it, and that was outstanding. I mean, I didn't realise until after the game that every single player touched the ball, until Calvert-Lewin put it in, and for all 11 players on the pitch to touch the ball and the ball end up in the goal in a 20-second stint, it's unbelievable, and it just showed the quality, it showed the bravery. Very similar to Rodon when the ball came out to Strauch, he held it, and then he gave it at the right moment. And the press of the Sunderland player almost caught him out. It goes back into Strauch to Okafor. Beautiful bit of touch, but the pass by Stack, outstanding. His first touch is a crossfield ball and straight into the path of Aaronson. And Aaronson in that moment, lads, how many times have we seen Aaronson in that play, with a ball running the defence? We've seen that hundreds of times. There hasn't been many times he's delivered an end product like that. And when you've got a striker in form like we have, all you've got to do is put it in between that 6-yard box and penalty, and anywhere in there, it's a goal by Calvert-Lewin. So the intensity were great, but the early goal really made it into a good second half. And even though it would have won all, lads, I thought it was a really good, entertaining game of football for me personally.
It was. I mean, I think it had down moments. I don't think we were quite as direct or as sort of energised or same tempo, especially the first half. We didn't show a lot of tempo.
No.
Bossnass, that goal though, I think
Unreal.
I think there was 4 or 5 passes in that one move. In the first half, we wouldn't have made that pass. We would have done something different. We wouldn't have passed that Strauch. Would have gone long. Strauch would have, if it went to Strauch, would have hit it further down the line. Okafor wouldn't have done first touch inside. Stack would have took 3 or 4 touches, looked up and just laid it off square. I think and Aaronson picked it up only about halfway in their half, and he just set off. And that's very, very non-Aaronson-like, actually being very direct and finding the final pass. It was a thing of beauty, wasn't it?
It was. The goal was absolutely phenomenal, really. I'll talk about that in a sec, but when you're talking about we wouldn't have done that in the first half, I mean, I do want to pick up on that because I have had a little thought to myself just, going through the day. And there is a little bit of me that thinks, was there an instruction from Fark at the beginning of this game, bearing in mind we're going to the Stadium of Light and how on top of you the crowd can be there? Is there a chance there was an instruction? Let's take the sting out of the crowd. Let's take the sting and the energy out of the play. Be very methodical and slow with the ball. Just bring the tempo down of everything so we can suck all of that fierce noise and energy both out the stadium and therefore out the Sunderland players as well, and just try and almost hoodwink them into thinking this is going to be a really drab affair. That kind of did stand out to me because, again, like you mentioned there, the contrast of the second half, then going into this. I can never say this. I always get it wrong in my mouth. Free flowing. There we go. Free flowing move where like the ball was being moved. It almost in like a fluid motion. Players were finding space and then showing for the ball, and it almost felt like they knew where to go with it next. Almost like it had been practiced on the training ground. I don't know if it had or not. Yeah. It'd be very hard to recreate what happened there on a training ground, but everybody was finding space, looking for the man, and the next man in that sequence was showing for the ball, and it was great. And then obviously it gets to Stack, and he plays that wonderful ball around the corner. And at that point, it turns to, do we have the composure? Now, this is where it gets, do we have the composure to take all of that fantastic play? Do we have the composure now to play the right ball with correct weight? Because we know if it gets to Calvert-Lewin, like Matty said, if it gets to Calvert-Lewin in the centre of this, in the centre of the penalty box, that he's more than likely going to put it away. And like I said, I'm sure we'll talk about Aaronson more during this podcast, but yeah, ultimate composure, puts the ball just fantastically into Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin does what he's been doing recently for the last 6 games now. So yeah, I was buzzing with it, and again, like Matty said, I didn't realise that every player had touched up. Do you know what? I think it'd be rare for anybody to have clocked on.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. If you're watching football and you realise everyone's touched it, then you're watching it wrong. Like, that's not how you should be watching football.
Yeah.
Like ticking them off. It's not cricket.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just nice to go from the kind of defensive area of the pitch to quite quickly and fluidly going into midfield, ball around the corner before you know it's a goal. It kind of took me a little bit back to those Bielsa days where you could be scoring a goal 20 seconds after having it in your own box, and it just felt nice.
That was closest to a Bielsa feel we've had since he left one of that goal. But I mean, Adam, when you look at it, do you think it's as simple? I mean, you can't play like this every week, can you, Adam? But like we speak about a lot. We spoke about a lot about the freedom, the handbrake being on a lot under Farker. When he releases a handbrake, this side is very, very good, mate. Very good. I know you can't just play free flowing football all the time. I actually think there's something in what Dan says there. You know, keeping it tight first half, trying to take the sting out of the crowd, which apparently it wasn't a great atmosphere there, and they definitely did bring the vibes up. You know, the 12th man wasn't there for Sunderland, but I do think there's something in literally the instruction of Farker being a little bit of go play with freedom. And I think, Adam, you see the midfield especially have that freedom. Ampadu, Tanaka, Stat, they're all getting forward, aren't they? We haven't seen this. We haven't seen this.
Even in the press, though, when you see Ampadu following one of their guys to the edge of their box, I mean, not just sitting into the DM role and sitting there and waiting for them to come onto him. Then the second half, we were completely different. I think the press is usually a really good indicator of where we are mentally as a side and what we're trying to achieve and how aggressive we are going to be on the ball as well, because suddenly we're man to man and we're following the guys away with the pitch, and suddenly Strout, he's 40 yards from their goal when they're passing around the back of the pitch. That back of in their defence, that happened a couple of times. But I think it's all about, like Bossnass said, in the first half, I think we were just playing the ball to the nearest person with no purpose, really. Just, he's open, I'll pass it to him. He's open, I'll pass it to him. Who's nearest and open? That's the only thought process in the whole thing. Who's nearest and open? And it always ended up as going back to Perry, kick it long. But we're taking 45 seconds, minute out of the game, whatever it may be, and we seem to be content with that. And then second half, even after the game, Fark said, I want a possession-based football. So he keeps saying it. Now, I'm not sure what we are, because I'm not sure you can be both. You can't expect goals like that and go long to DCL. I mean, it should be horses for courses, of course. I think when we're at Liverpool, hopefully the Metch are back in the side, go direct, play two up front,
Direct.
get 3 centre midfielders in, which means dropping Aaronson, and go direct again. Not sure he's going to do it, but I think Fark did let the handbrake off. We were much more aggressive in everything we did, and we could have easily scored 3 goals in the second half. Definitely.
It was a 3-1 game for me, apart from on the scoreline. You look at the stats, it backed it up. It was a 3-1 game all day long, but it doesn't matter, does it? You move on with a point and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and Dan, you saw about Aaronson. I think I say that goal sort of epitomises exactly what he is as a player in terms of, he's a change in him. He only picked the ball up 40, 50 yards from goal. He ran vertically with it and crossed the ball. I mean, even the cross, it looks easy, but actually he held onto it just long enough, released it spot on timing, and it's a perfect ball. So there's lots going on with that. You could easily get it wrong. Aaronson last couple of games, even before both games, I've been, Brenden Aaronson, not sure, final ball still not quite there. Even a half time this game, even though he was unlucky in the first half for clearance off line, he's still not quite find that final ball. But he proved me wrong in that second half. I mean, it's one moment. Said he proved me wrong now, so I can't take that back. But he played very well last couple of games, hasn't he? And he's earned that starting spot.
Yeah, I believe so. I had him up there as definitely in the top 3 candidates for man of the match. But for me, it would have been my choice personally for man of the match. I think he's growing in confidence. He's come through a bit of a process, where he has been booed. There has been groans, and it takes some kind of strength to get through that and still be confident in what you're doing. I think Farke, if we can talk, there's been a lot of conversation about Farke. What is he good at? What is he not good at? When it comes down to the man management and putting the arm around, I think for Brenden Aaronson, that was vital for him this season to get where he is now. And yeah, he just seems like he's growing in confidence. He's looking to progress the ball more positively. He's seeing what he's seen. He looks to be, to me, as if he started to believe in himself a little bit more than what he did, especially with how he assisted that goal on the weekend. He still has that thing where he can get flustered if there's a lot of men around the ball and he makes no decision whatsoever and gets taken off him. That's still there. There's still stuff to be worked upon. But for a hard-working, pressing nuisance, I mean, he is a nuisance for teams when he plays against them. And he works his socks off. And now he's adding those little parts to his game where he can be a crucial cog in attacks and how they end up playing out. You've got to applaud the guy, because a lot of people would have crumbled under the microscope.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that the less you give him to think about, the better for him. I think when you put him in on the right wing and he's just, there's too much structure there, or you put him in the I think at the minute, for me, in the last 2 weeks especially, he looks like the freest player on the pitch. He looks like he's got nothing in his head other than that moment he's in. He's not having to think too much about anything. He's just playing the game as we all love. It's like he's playing on park. He's playing. I keep talking about freedom and handbrake being off. I look at Brenden Aaronson and think he's loving life at Leeds United right now, and it's probably the first time he's been in that situation. Even last year, playing all those games. I think right now, the last couple of weeks, I think he now feels like he's a vital part, and he's playing with freedom, and long may it continue.
I think the nicest thing Dan said there actually was when he said he works really hard. It was one of the final things he said as the final compliment. Whereas before, that was a first and foremost thing anyone really works really hard. Yeah, everyone works really hard mostly, but so absolutely. But I think it's a mindset as well that he's willing to carry it. He's willing to give the ball away. He's being much braver on the ball, and I think that's all we can really ask him. I don't mind if the right winger gives the ball away. It's not the end of the world. Okafor's. I love the fact Okafor always tries to beat a man, and every 1 in 3, 2 in 3 will give it away. But when he does beat him, the game opens up, and that's what we can ask of these players. Now, I think Farke's instilled that finally in him to be that little bit braver and not be afraid to give the ball away. And I think we saw, and that resulted in that goal for me. I don't think he would have done that even earlier in the season. He wasn't putting crosses in, and he certainly wasn't carrying it with purpose for 20, 30, 40 yards straight up the pitch. He just wasn't doing it.
I agree.
Yeah, I think he was also instructed to attack yesterday. I mean, I don't know if my memory fails me here, but just before Xhaka plays the through ball for the Odinga goal, I think you see that there's something where the ball can be taken off the Sunderland player, or Aaronson can come back and try and assist the tackle, but he just turns about face and legs it as if there's going to be a counter attack.
Yeah.
And I think, he did get some scrutiny for that, but again, those are the kind of gambles where if we did get the ball and released Aaronson, then we could be singing a different tune if something came of that. So,
and you know what it is as well, boys. He also almost gets a goal. We go direct there. DCL. That would have been one hell of an assist, by the way.
Yeah.
Unreal. And he beats the keeper. He does everything right. He even turns his left foot. He hits it well, but well played, Trey Hugh. Brilliant defending. We're waxing lyrical if that's one of our defenders. And then also Okafor on left in second half. Takes it onto his right. Plays it into box. Who's there? Aaronson flicks it onto the back post for Bogle, who just misses it just 5 minutes after we just scored. So he almost ends up with a goal and 2 assists in that game, does Aaronson. And fine margins. The Bogle should have scored. Aaronson almost pretty much did score bar some heroic defending. And we're talking about 2 assists and a goal. He's got 3 assists now, I think, in this run. He's probably in the form of his life at the minute. And like I say, it's better for Aaronson to play well and get better because he isn't going to get dropped. The amount of Leeds fans who don't really want him, it's better for him to improve because Farker loves him. And whether we have done or not, maybe we've been forced to, but now the appearances that we're seeing from him week in, week out are at a level where you look at him now and go, he's a Premier League player. And his first stint at Leeds United started off really well. And then it dropped, and then in the Championship, didn't really do what we thought he could have done. And now he's back to something like, and he's effective with the ball, not just off the ball now, lads, and that's a massive compliment to give him, really.
I think it's like Farker though, like people saying, "Oh, you wanted Farker out," and oh no, you proved wrong. I don't think that's the case. I think, as I say, this feels like a new manager bounce, and we're seeing lots of new stuff from Farker, but we're seeing new things from Aaronson, a new bravery, a slightly new player, stronger player, making better decisions, and maybe that's just come with experience, and maybe it's all starting to click together. But yeah. I mean, long may it continue. And I was watching on Sunday, yeah, and I finally thought, actually, this guy looks like he's worth some money. Like, this looks like a player.
Good,
and that's
because he cost some money.
Oh well, I mean, what was he? Nearly 30 million, saying absurd, ridiculous.
Come on, Brenden, keep it up, lad.
Yeah, I mean, strength of I don't know what, but he's got a little bit stronger. I think playing wide's better for him as well, a bit more space, and he's always had good feet, but you just find it, like Dan said, like he's knowing when to use it a little bit more and making decisions rather than just sometimes doing some weird flicks.
If he were a boxer, he'd be a southpaw, wouldn't he? He's just a bit unorthodox in the way he carries it. Yeah. He's not, you look at some footballers and you think, show him down line. He's just, I don't think he knows what he's going to do next.
He's always been that, isn't he? He's always going
He must be just so annoying to play against. Luckily for a lot of defenders he's faced, he hasn't had the quality to maybe beat him or do what he does. But now that sort of, he's up to his levels. He must be a nightmare to play against. He must be.
I've never seen someone move their shoulders so much when they've had the ball. Like, he's just always like, the ball's not moving. He's just like shimming around and so on. Anyway, DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let's talk about him. 7 goals in 6 now. And I don't want to get too carried away. The England talk has been absurd up to now and up to this game for me. But and there's not a lot of really. I mean, it's Welbeck, Watkins. Solanke's come back. And obviously Kane front runner. I think I'm missing one there as well, potentially. But actually, I watched this game of football, and the way I know he scored, and that obviously sort of makes you feel a little bit differently about it. But I watched this game of football, the way he led the line and held the ball up and get a goal. That is a pretty complete performance, Dan.
Are you talking to me? No, really good, really, really good. I was very doubtful when I woke up to the news of Dominic Calvert-Lewin is signed as, on a free to Leeds United. I'll be honest, I woke up and said 2 very choice words whilst looking at my phone.
Stuffing hell.
Yeah, something along those. A little bit stronger than that. But
classic.
He's really started to win me over now. Just because there's all this kind of, fashion and charade around the modern striker, the modern player in those attacking areas. And for me, Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't fit into that mold. He's not one of these strikers that can kind of play around the edge of the box, can turn into a winger or an inside forward. You know, he don't possess those, but what he is he's a classic old school Premier League centre forward in the sense of that he doesn't have the world's best talent, but he has some of the best instincts as a striker I've seen in Leeds United in a long, long time. He just has that. He has that talent. Well, no, not talent. That ability that you just cannot teach. That comes through just playing as a striker in those kind of areas over and over again through repetition. He has that. He just knows where to be and when. And he knows how to get in front of his defender. He knows how to beat his defender. He knows how to get to that ball first. And he does it. And I don't know if anyone's seen the graphic of where he scored or like his goals from this. It's pretty much straight line down the penalty. That can't be a coincidence for me, boys.
No,
it's class.
No.
Like, he's targeting a certain area of the pitch, and for me, it can't be a coincidence that he's getting the ball in those areas because, you know, if as an attacking midfielder, if you know where your striker's going to be and you know he's going to beat his man, you're just going to give him the ball where he asks for it.
Yeah.
So, really, 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 really good. Really, really happy with it. Do you know, we haven't seen an absolute banger yet, have we? We haven't seen a 25-meter screamer that's gone in off the underside of the crossbar. But I don't think we
will we? No.
And do you know what? I won't be too disappointed if we didn't get one. Just carry on what you're doing, because what you're doing at the minute is brilliant. And if you carry on at this kind of rate, then you'll keep Leeds in the Premier League, and that's all we want.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we've found a way to play for him as well a little bit. I think he doesn't want to play against a higher line and run in behind and have time to think while he's on the ball. That's not his game. He wants to find ways of just being in the box and as a team to have any sort of concerted pressure and him to be in the box and us to get it into the box somehow. And that's about it. He wants to be pushing teams back. So as a team, I think last few games, Matty, we've found a way to push teams back, which is usually just playing territory, not being afraid to give the ball away, playing direct, long throws, corners, getting the ball forward quickly and pinning teams back like that. And then DCL's in the box. And he's as Dan said, he's making really good runs and getting on the end of things.
Yeah, 100%, mate. We need to make us most effective players, get the best out of our most effective players. And you don't see DCL very often have the ball at feet on the halfway line, you know, even 2/3 into their half. If DCL's got a touch on the ball, it's normally in the air. If it's at his feet, he's in the box, and his final touch is a shot on box. And that's where we need our striker. I mean, you've got someone like Harry Gray, who we all hope stays at Leeds, has a great career. He was learning off Bamford, been learning off Pirro, fair enough, great. He's got Calvert-Lewin now, who's, you know, touted for an England call-up. He's already played for England, played at a decent level, smashing it in the Premier League now. We've got someone like Harry Gray learning that instinctiveness of a striker. Like, we know Harry Gray hopefully goes on for great things, and he can shoot from outside the box, Bossnass off the bar. He's got all the tricks. But if he can learn that instinctive in the box, in and around the penalty spot, that's great for our youth coming through. And what a difference. I saw a lot of people early in the season, a lot of people, lads, who go, why have we signed Calvert-Lewin? We've just signed Bamford again. I'm sorry. But a fit Bamford doesn't give you what Calvert-Lewin gives you. He cannot do what Calvert-Lewin can. And you've got to upgrade when you go up in quality of who you're facing. We've upgraded, our opponents have upgraded, you know, from Championship and we had to do that for every player. And I think we've done it pretty well with a lot of them. But Calvert-Lewin, we look at a number 9, and yeah, there's always going to be fitness concerns, but what if he doesn't get injured? You know, but what if he doesn't get injured? He's only 28. We haven't signed a 33-year-old Callum Wilson who hasn't played for 2 years. You know, he's 28 years of age, and maybe his injury woes are past him, and maybe he's just about to come into his prime. And for free, it was a gamble worth taking. The problem for Leeds, it wasn't a gamble for Calvert-Lewin in terms of a financial gamble. It was a gamble of all your eggs in one basket because you haven't gone out and got somebody else. You know, we were linked with a fair few strikers, Dimitrovic. People were talking about Mitrovic. You wanted Calvert-Lewin to be an option, but not the main option. Well, actually, we've come to learn that he's a brilliant main option. It's just, can he stay on the pitch? But why can't he? Why can't he? You know, you're not always going to be injured. We're really good at managing injury-prone players' minutes. Done it with Byram, did it really well with Solomon, lads. Farker, the backroom staff, whoever, the physio table, we're doing really well. And maybe we've got to manage his training schedule different to others. But whatever we're doing is working. And he loves it at Leeds. And a fit and firing Calvert-Lewin, who's happy, is a 30-40 million pound striker, lads. And maybe that price tag is still available to have on his head because he is still only 28. So
can I just say,
exceptional, lads.
I do think though, on the balance of that, he was a huge gamble. It was putting all your money on red or black. The guy, Calvert-Lewin, he showed what he can do under Ancelotti, and he destroyed teams. But on the other side of that, he spent a hell of a lot of time on the physio's bed, and he also hadn't been scoring goals in great numbers. He scored more this season than he did, previous season for
They
Everton.
were poor Everton though, weren't they? How Everton have stayed a Premier League side, Dan, over those last 3 or 4 years have done well. They've been poor.
I understand that, but still, 4 goals. I think it was around 4. Don't quote me on it, but I think it was around that area. 4 goals. In a team that stayed up. Let's have it right. They have but yeah, he was a big injury concern. He showed what he can do, but he hadn't showed it recently. So I think people were right to be cautious about this sign. I think, and we talk about it being a free. To bring the player in, free. I mean, I think the wages will be considerable. Calvert-Lewin talks about that he had interest from European sides. That shows that we weren't the only team that was looking at bringing Calvert-Lewin in, thinking that he was worth the gamble. So that kind of puts a bit of credibility on that. But it could have gone either way. The thing is, Calvert-Lewin backed himself. He backed his ability. He backed himself to come into a team and have a big impact. But I think at the beginning it was a gamble. But it's a gamble that has really, really paid off. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But this one, it really has paid off, and I'm very thankful for it. And I just hope it can continue.
As ever with these things, so far so good, of course, and I think he's exceeded up to now. He's exceeded all expectation. I know the club said to Graham when he signed, we think we can keep him fit. We think he will score goals. We're confident of that. But I think he's gone far and beyond what even they would have expected or even hoped. I think he's been excellent, and long may it continue. And as I say, I think we found a way to utilise him best, which is just play him up through the middle. Don't knock on bowl means, but he doesn't want to be 40 yards from goal trying to spin defenders and all that sort of stuff. Just get him up, advance on the final line and get him in the box. Get us up the pitch. Get the ball in the box and let him finish it. It's working pretty well, isn't it? It's pretty simple because he's so good at jumping as well. I love the simplicity of what we're doing in terms of just be bigger, get the ball in the box and be bigger and stronger than the opposition. Like Bajol is amazing winning the first header. He's not, people say they're like 6'4". He's probably about 6'1", Bajol, I think. But he's such a strong guy that he'll just muscle his way into position and out jump someone just because he'll pin someone. I wasn't supposed to talk about Bajol, but he's been impressive last few games all done, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, look, in a back three, he looks really, really, really good. When we saw him in a back two, he looks like he was vulnerable. So yeah, but look, we don't have the squad depth to be able to go well. Coming up from the Championship, you never be able to spend enough money in a situation that we was in to have enough depth to go, we're picking this player and he can do X, Y, and Z. Because that player would have cost way more than we could afford. So yes, we had to pick and choose what we was doing, which kind of confused me as why one of our biggest signings of the season wasn't getting game time to start the season, which was fair enough at the time because Stroke was doing very well, but he wasn't getting game time. Then why was we bringing in that profile of player? Like for me, if you're spending that kind of money on a player, you should be making an impact straight away. So I'm really glad whatever happened in Farke's mind, that he wanted to change things up and go to a back three. And when it's starting to see Bajol, he looks a threat from corners. He commands the area. On the Late Night Leeds show on Matty's channel, I put out there that our players, for reasons why we was going to do well in this game against Sunderland, I said our players are just bigger and stronger than yours, and that will count for something. And there was a lot of pushback on that, but I think that was demonstrated so clearly at the stadium. We in the centre and in every single area of the pitch for me, we was winning more aerial duels. We was winning the physicality in the midfield. We weren't getting pushed off the ball really until maybe Aaronson did a couple of times, but he did very well other than that. So I think, like what you said there, Adam, find out what you're good at and just keep doing it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
don't overcomplicate the situation. We're a big, strong team with a striker that can score. Find a
Be,
way to get it to the guy that can score.
be all lads, be all bullies the opposition in an attacking capacity when when we've got a set piece, a corner, or we're delivering a free kick into the box. Be all normally is the player we aim for into that sort of area, and he usually, we saw it last week against Palace. He gets that flick on. He's brilliant at that. He had a couple of headers on target against Sunderland as well, just not enough power on it straight down Roof's sort of throat, but he wins that first header in that box. He's a massive threat. From set piece, we saw him score against Chelsea. It's a great addition to have. We've said it loads of times this season, on like I say on Late Night Leeds as well. Threats from set pieces, centre halves that can score, full backs that look dangerous, midfielders that are scoring goals now, and to have that threat all over, as opposed to just a winger cut back goal. Under Farker, it's been your wingers and your striker who scores goals, and that's pretty much it. Now, there's an argument now, lads, that pretty much every outfield player may get on score sheet this season. There's a potential. Goodmanson and Bogle almost gets one there as well. So, yeah, I think all midfielders have scored now. Strikers have scored. It's great to see it, boys. It's great to see. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to move on to the Liverpool game next, talk about the preview of that. But it'd be remiss not to mention Stack, I think, quickly. Just quickly. I think he was brilliant. I think he won all his duels. He didn't win all his duels, obviously, but he won a lot of duels. He was physical. He was good on the ball. And yeah, I think another really impressive performance. I think he's a bit of a dual monster, Stack, actually. I think that will carry on. I think he's finding his feet and getting better every game. And he's corners, he's free kicks, everything about him. Yeah,
he's technically superb for such a big man.
Yeah.
He can do both sides of the game, can't he? He can be physical. He can be in a fight if you want to fight him. He can tussle with you. He's strong enough for that. He's got a bit of a turn. He's got a turn of pace. He's got a great first touch. He's got his vision superb, as you saw yesterday. But for me, out of all of it, and he's an outstanding player. But set piece wise, we've gone up levels. Joe Rothwell could deliver an half decent corner last season. We're seeing levels, and the dead ball situation is huge. It's that those minor percentages that you try and get over the side, like we say about set pieces, corners, throw-ins from Ampadu. The set piece delivery of Stack, I think he hit the first man once at Sunderland. 8, 9 out of 10 deliveries are on the money, and they're in the area between the penalty spot and the keeper. And I can't remember last time I saw a keeper come out and just collect one. It may get cleared, we may not win the header, but it's always in an area for us to attack. And if that ball isn't that good, then we're not talking about Be-all being good in there. We're not talking about Rodon scoring goals. He's been outstanding as Stack. An £18 million, maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago, I started worrying, thinking he wasn't as good as what we thought he was the opening few weeks. He's kicked on again, and I think the last few weeks he's showing everybody how good he is, and I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to be in that Germany squad as well.
I heard a couple of people who have watched him quite a lot in Germany saying this isn't quite Anton Stack that we know, and I think they mentioned he's probably that injury with the ribs was probably affecting him more than was let on, I think. And I think we're selecting him because he's so good, but I think that now he's clear of that. I think he's looking like the player I thought he was going to be when I saw him. Me and Matty saw him in Dublin against Milan. I thought we got a £40 million centre midfielder here. Would get into a lot of Premier League teams. And I think he's starting to look like that now. Yeah, let's move on. Right, Liverpool. Dan, no Rodon. So, and that's a massive miss. Like, he's been brilliant this season. I say he's had games where lots of games where he's been the best centre back on the pitch for both teams. Like we played West Ham at home, they had Todibo and Kilman, who've both been bought £40 million each, and Rodon was head and shoulders above them. So much better. So he's been a massive miss. His pace, the way he reads the game. Do we have to change formation? How do we move forward from it?
I think we saw against Sunderland. I genuinely think Farker would rather change the shape than put Bornau on the pitch. Yeah. And look, like I said earlier, we was talking about gambles and Calvert-Lewin. We took a gamble on this guy and it just hasn't paid off. But we can do that thing up to now, because it kind of it does keep you safer if he turns out to be an absolute world in the second half of the season. But for me, I don't see it. I saw him against Sheffield Wednesday. He looked like he had the turning circle of the Titanic.
They all did though, didn't they, that game? But
but he looked like he was uncomfortable. Being on football. Yeah. It looked like, he's one of those people that had been called in last minute to play a five-a-side where they've gone, I don't really want to, but
George Ware's cousin vibes, yeah.
yeah. You know what I mean? He can't be that bad to command a price in the millions of pounds, but it doesn't take an awful lot to be spotlighted as not at the level when you're playing at Premier League standards. So yeah, it's very difficult one. I think he changes the shape simply because I don't think he can afford. You're only as strong as your weakest link, right? Unless, and this would be really shocking to me, if he started the game with Ampadu as a centre back and brought in a Gruev.
I can't
I
see
think,
it.
I think there's a better option, lads. I think James Justin at right centre back.
Yes,
For me, him. I mean, yeah, he's not the exact same profile as Rodon, but he's probably the most similar for me. He's got the pace. He's physically still a bit of a specimen. He's played in a back three at Leicester. He can play out wide. We saw Rodon. He plays really quite wide at times, especially on the ball. I think James Justin would he play? I think he'd pick Justin over Bornau. I think, but I'm worried he plays a back four. And if I'm honest, lads, I think the back four worked at the week yesterday because it was a bit of a shock to Sunderland as going into that. So I know they had half time to sort it out, and it took them a while, but eventually got to grips with it in the last 10, 12 minutes, and we struggled to sort of continue. But starting a back four against Liverpool, I'm not sure we'll have that much success, but we'll have to see. But I'd love James Justin. That'd be my choice, lads. But it's a
I
tough one.
thought about that. I
But
genuinely.
again, lads, if we don't know who he's going to pick, Liverpool won't have a clue either. So they're going to be second guessing this. But yeah, Bossnass, not a bad shout, though, James Justin.
I genuinely haven't thought of that. I think, now you've said it, I agree with you totally there. Because James Justin, has, like you said, he has done it at Leicester. It'll be interesting to see, and it will tell us everything we need to know about Bornau's kind of position going into this winter window.
If he doesn't start at Liverpool, Adam, he goes probably Bornau.
I think the only not defence as such. The only thing I think Bornau of one thing about him starting or not, I think the only position he can cover in a back three is the central one because he hasn't got the pace to be pulled wide on either side. So, but then if he can only cover the central one, then he's no real cover at all because Bijol can't cover either side either because he's not quick enough. So then that means we've got no cover really for Struck and no cover for Rodon. So then you need a new centre back and you need a quick centre back. Like the lad we linked with from RB and Bornau probably does have to go. Because you can't just go, oh, it's Bijou or Bornau. Because even Bijou, I think, would have second thoughts about bringing a Bornau in probably. So in the back four, it might get the FA Cup game, Bornau, and I think that may well be him off in January potentially because he's not got a spot in this squad because he's just not fast enough. I don't think. Like he can't cover enough positions ultimately. And Matty, you saw my line there. Really, James Justin for me is. I mean, he's only probably 5'9", 5'10", but it's not like Liverpool going to go long diags and up to STK and try and beat, take advantage of that. So I don't see that as an issue. You get pulled wide a lot, right centre back. Obviously, he's a full-back by trade, but he's played centre in a back three before. He is a specimen. He's strong, so I think exactly the same guy for me. That's who I bring in because I'd love to see the back five in this game. It wouldn't be a back three; it would be a back five. Back to three, solid in midfield. So I bring Sanaka back in, and then if hopefully Nemecha's fit to start, and we play DCO and Nemecha up front, and hopefully they can cause some carnage because I know we tried it against Liverpool at home. And I think Van Dijk and Canate ran the game a little bit, but that's when Okafor and DCL. So that's what I'd like to see, Dan. I think stick with the back three midfield, two up front.
Yeah. The only argument, circling back, I could see in not using James Justin in that role is, would it be slightly unfair to chuck James Justin in a back three lacking a lot of match sharpness against the Liverpool team? That's the only way I see it not being done because obviously Ampadu does have that match sharpness. He has been playing a lot of minutes, so that's the only reason. But I think the most likely thing is that we might see four at the back. I think that could be the most likely. But yeah, other than that, Adam, I kind of agree with what you were saying there.
I mean, Liverpool are fallible at home as well. They've lost 2 games out of 9 at home. I mean, they're sixth in the home table, but they've not been amazing. They were poor against Wolves as well. So right, anyway, let's score prediction for Liverpool then. Let's do that now.
I'm gonna go 2-2.
Dan?
2-2.
Oh, he's going to.
Look, boys, we're
Probably
going to.
lose.
We've had such a good run, and
Probably
these
lose,
two are
yeah.
laughing because they know how honest I am. We've had such a good run. Look, are we going to see that continue for the rest of the season? Probably not. I think our home form will keep us in this league. I think going to Anfield, they are a little bit resurgent. I don't see us getting anything out of this game. That doesn't mean that I don't think we're going to put in a good performance. I think we've seen our performance levels go from here to here, and I think they'll stay there for the rest of the season now. I'm not sure we've got enough to get us over the line at Anfield. So for me, boys, I would say 2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's fair enough. They are the champions. They've got a lot of good players. They're not an amazing run of form, and they were poor against Wolves, as I say. After watching the Wolves game, they are there to be got at. Every time Wolves attack, they look like they could make something of opportunities. So I think if we play what the right tactics are, which is still direct, two up front, and try and cause them problems that way, I think we can get at them. So I'm going to go for an unlikely, but probably won't happen, 2-1 Leeds. For no reason other than I want it to happen. That'll do me.
A win, a draw, and a loss. Sound.
I hate being the guy that predicts a
No,
loss.
but me and Matt, you're probably right. That's the problem. We just lied. So it's fine. Leeds United now. We're going to talk about the Man United game Sunday. A massive game coming up, like huge game. We are 7 points clear of West Ham, but West Ham are a good side, but they're not showing it. I mean, they've got what West Ham got. They've got 13 points from 18 games.
They've got some good players, Adam. They've got a few good players. Good side.
I mean, their front four is scary on paper. It's really. I mean, Paquetá, Bowen.
Bossnass isn't having none of this. Look at him. Bossnass isn't having any of it.
I watch a lot of West Ham content. West Ham are absolutely honking.
Oh, no, I agree, but they shouldn't be. But they are absolutely, and long may it continue. And I love the fact they play Tuesday. I love the fact they're playing Tuesday and we're playing Thursday. So if they lose that, we could pull away again.
That club is in it. That club is in a whole lot of trouble. It is rotten from the very top to the very bottom.
I've been to that ground. It's rubbish. It's an athletic stadium. They should have a track in there. They have to watch football. They have to watch rubbish football. They lose a lot. They blow bubbles. Like, what's going on?
They're going in there. I don't know how long this is going to carry on for, but they go in there and on the 18th minute, I think it's the 18th minute, it signifies the length of the ownership. They hold up red cards, and they point red cards at Sullivan and Brady. I'm not sure what they think that's going to be, but fair play to them.
The difference in that, lads, to playing Upton Park a few years ago. If it was like Upton Park now, they'd probably have 5-6 points more than what they've currently got. You've seen at Elland Road, you've seen at Sunderland, Stadium of Light. That home support when you're a struggling side has to, and be. There has to be synergy between players, the board, and the fans, and that can be the difference in staying up and going down, Dan.
Yeah, there's rumours now circulating, and it's even getting printed in the press now that that Nuno's literally on the verge of being sacked. I mean, to me, I know this sounds horrible, but to me that is music to my ears.
Oh, brilliant.
Because it's another bedding in period. It's another manager going in there having to figure out who he can rely on. And we know from being Leeds fans that often rolling the dice in the managerial position when you're in a relegation fight often compounds the problem rather than solving anything.
100%.
Yeah, it does.
100%.
So yeah, I mean, look, he's not playing Wilson currently as a 9. That's a major concern for the West Ham fans because they aren't playing a striker. They've got Paquetá that looks like he really just can't be bothered and he's looking for a move. Somerville is the Somerville that we knew back in the Premier League, not in the Championship, where he was lethal in front of goal, taking too many touches, a bit lightweight, getting pushed off the ball. That's a real problem for him. In the centre, they've got Freddie Potts, who's again a fantastic player, but he's very lightweight. They've got Magassa and Fernandez, which are two very good players, but that's about all they're relying on at the minute. Tadibo and Kilman look grossly overvalued what they paid for them. And yeah, it's just a real mess. And look, as cutthroat as the Premier League is, as a Leeds United fan, I can't say I'm gutted to see it because at the end of the day, as long as it's not us, I'm all right with it.
They're a club, lads. Go on, mate. Go on, Adam.
Kilman's another one. Like he's playing the back four. He's a back three centre back. He's always a back three centre back. He was never good in a four, and they've stuck him in a four and goes, "Oh, well, this doesn't work." Why? And
Goes to show you, doesn't it, Adam, that it doesn't matter how good you are and been in Europe a couple of years ago, a couple of bad windows. You know, you get that money for Declan Rice, a couple of bad windows, and you can be really struggling. And they spent a lot of money on average players for me.
They spent so much money. How much did they spend on the Leicester goalkeeper Hermansen and the back to Ariola? Ariola, he's steady, but he's not.
Yeah, he's a keeper. Yeah, he is.
He's steady, but he's not. They looked. The thing is, they wanted to upgrade him, and the back where they're back to square one. So
I went to talking about Upton Park. I went to Upton Park. It feels like 3 times. I don't know, but it always felt like we went there and won like 4-1. I mean, I'm probably rewriting history. I was growing up, so I was a stupid young child. But my dad always insisted on getting the bus around London. He just loved getting the bus. And I remember sitting in the bus stop after the game. I thought we'd won 4-1. It's my first experience of football. I was sitting there at the bus stop, and this bin flew past my head. Not big, it's not clever, kids. But I was like, oh, and I just look around, and I don't know if it looks around and just everything was kicking off everywhere. And
I thought you meant it was just a really windy day, Adam. You mean a long day?
Honestly, this bin went up, around, just stuff flying everywhere. We're just sitting on the bus stop having a great. Because the kids, you're like, wow. But Upton Park was a brilliant ground, though. Great atmosphere. I remember Leeds fans, someone was wearing a tracksuit in the whole away and just having to go with this guy wearing this tracksuit, like nearly enough for the whole game. It was just football, brilliant away days. I haven't been for a long time now, but in terms of away days. But the other thing, West Ham's getting to the stage now. Hopefully, Brighton home on Tuesday. If we can pick up something at Liverpool and West Ham don't, and say Forest do as well. It's getting to the stage where you think, actually, West Ham are so far below now, they'll struggle to get people in January as well. So actually, you're hoping Forest start getting points as well, because you can just almost Burnley and Wolves, not quite right off yet. Well, Wolves you can, not far off. But actually, you're looking at it going, yeah, cut adrift, great. Because people look at that in January and go, I don't want to go there. There's no point in going to West Ham.
Of course. Bringing it back to a Leeds perspective, like that, the gap, as much as we don't want what other teams do to be critical to our season, we are in that situation where we are going to blow the league away this year. We are going to be, we might finish in relative lower mid-table comfortability. That would be ideal, but it's always key to keep a keen eye on what your main competitors are doing to stay in the league. And they've got Brighton, they've got Wolves, and they've got Nottingham Forest. And this is such a massively important period of time for West Ham, because they cannot capitalise on one of their more favourable periods of the year. Then, it's going to be very despondent at the London Stadium, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only sad of that at that time to play to incomings will pay you lots and lots of money, and will pay your club lots of money. And even the club might start looking and going, can we afford to do that? If we because they'll start thinking we'd like to be in Championship as well. It won't take many more points to be cut adrift.
And we'll be linked to our same players, Adam. We'll be linked to the same players.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know. I think West Ham. Last time I remember West Ham this time they got Mascherano and Tevez. Miracles can happen. But
West Ham are currently talking about Strand Larsen and also Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
One thing that I will give them credit for, they will more than likely they will roll the dice in January.
They will go hard. I agree. I think they will go hard. But I say every point Forest get, Leeds get, West Ham don't, means that sales a little bit hard for them, and it'll cost them more money. And even they might start second guessing themselves. I don't think they will. I think they'll just give Ivan Toney $300,000 a week or whatever he wants, or someone like that, and they'll roll the dice definitely, because I think they can't afford not to, really, in lots of ways as well. So anyway. May night game, home Sunday. Matt, you couldn't get a ticket, which you were very upset about, weren't you? You were in the ballot. I was in the ballot. Have you not blagged one yet from one of your YouTube contacts?
I haven't been. I haven't started begging yet, but I've just been refreshing. I've been doing that old track and field on refresh, mate. What I learned as a kid. Doing my head in, to be fair, but it's like I know there's about 50,000 other people doing the same round Leeds, but yeah. If not, mate, I'll probably do a watch along as well. But yeah, it'll be heartbreaking to get to pretty much every home game, and this be the one I don't. But I think, regardless of what happens at Liverpool, the beatable of Man United, a scum, as we like to call them. 100%. There's no Fernandes. I think they've got a few more out, which you were saying earlier, Adam. But I think it's massively important, like Bossnass says, even if we get beat at Liverpool, have a good performance, come out of there with his dignity intact. Don't go there and get slapped up 3 or 4, which can happen if they get a bit of a roll and our heads go down early. Come out of there, you can continue momentum even through a loss. You know, the unbeaten run can get smashed and, you know, have to start that again. But that momentum, that performance level, if that stays up there and we can, you know, like we've done against them at home, we'll take massive positives at, you know, 3-3 at home. We know man for man we can match them in a game on a patch of grass, regardless of what it is. We can play against these 11 and come out with something. That'll give us confidence that we can do that against Liverpool. But 100%, this is our most winnable chance against Scum in years. And it means so much more to, you know, Leeds fans does this game than any more, lads.
Absolutely, we've been so good lately at home as well. And plus, if Fernandez, if Maguire might be back, I think, but he might still be out. De Ligt's out, and Burmo, Ahmad, anyone else? I might cover. I mean, then you got sort of Mount and Cunha behind Sesko. It's all hit and miss. Ugarte and Casemiro. Ugarte can't pass it 10 yards sometimes. Casemiro's 80 years old. Dorgu's running down the right hand side. What threat should that be? Dallow's running down the left. Who cares? Shaw, Heaven and Martinez started last game. It's the shortest centre back free I've seen in a long. They're a small side. They're a small side. They're there to be got at Bossnass, definitely.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. First thing is I hope we get the Chelsea effect. Which what I mean by that is the turnover of their squad. They've got quite a large contingent of their players have never come to Elland Road. They don't really know what the rivalry is about. I think we saw that with Chelsea when they came up. They didn't know what that game meant. They didn't know what to expect. They didn't know what kind of cauldron they was going to walk into. 100%. So hopefully we can take advantage of that again. I think Mason Mount will be critical in conveying that message as an ex-Chelsea player, you know, what the game means. The other thing that I think could be a worry for Leeds United is that what's his name now? They're so inconsequential. I forget the manager's name.
Oh, I forgot the manager's name now.
Almiron.
What are we doing, boys?
We're not a Man United show. It's fine.
If anything, this is a good thing.
Yeah. Who are they?
In Almiron.
Almiron, is it?
It is, isn't it?
No,
it bloody is.
It's not Almiron.
It bloody is. Man United manager.
I think Almiron's right as well, by the way.
Is it?
Oh, mate, of course it is.
We're now all Googling.
Yeah, I'm a rim.
Almiron, you fool.
God,
Almiron. That's a
tablet. Yeah, I think he's going through a little transition phase here. He was very stuck to his formation that he brought into from Sporting. I don't even know what it is. I think it might be like a 3-4-2-1. But yeah, so he was very wedded to that, and I think in the last game they played where Dorgu scored, I think he was playing more of like a wide 4-4-2 system, which Man United looked very comfortable in, and they did actually look quite dangerous in. So I hope it's not one of those things where Man United come to Elland Road just when they figured it out. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But yeah, very gettable, big opportunity, like Matty said, to get one over on them. And yeah, it'd be nice just to beat them comfortable as well, wouldn't it? A nice 3-4. Like
we're not playing him in the dark though, boys. Unfortunately, it's always the early kickoff against them, so no one can get popped up and have a go. So 12:30. I mean, if there's a game where it don't matter where we play it or what time we play it, this is the game. I expect Elland Road to be a cauldron, but I tell you what, playing them in the dark, 8 o'clock under the lights, they would not know what hit them, and I would guarantee I'd put my house on us winning that. 12:30 kickoffs as a regular Elland Road goer, as you know, it is a little bit of a different atmosphere. I won't lie, but I don't know.
This is really special, isn't it?
It
is
really
special, yeah. Even Graham Smith made a great joke. It's like Elland Road's like Hollyoaks after dark. It's just, you know, it's just a different show after dark.
Class that. I love that.
Almiron is obviously the ex-Newcastle right winger. Miguel Almiron. Yeah. He's not a good job, mate.
Almiron, and I knew. I was like, that is not right. That is not right.
You knew, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Know what his name was, but yeah.
I didn't know his name, but I knew you two were wrong. How would you like that?
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's good. Right, prediction for this one. I'm going to go first. I think, as Dan said, they're starting to get it together, but I don't think they're there yet, and they keep missing players. Depends who's back. Maguire, De Ligt, I think, are huge for them, but I don't really care. I think Elland Road, tempo, passion, everything will be in our favour. The crowd and the players will match it, and we'll beat them 3-1.
I reckon it's our first clean sheet in a while. It's 2-0 Leeds. 2-0.
I will go for 2-1 Leeds, and I am so thankful that Man United are coming to Elland Road without Scott McTominay, because that guy was a constant thorn in our side. He would
Yeah,
be
well,
absolutely unbelievable
Yeah,
against
he is
Leeds.
now. He is now, but he never showed those levels apart from these games.
I
Yeah.
always thought he was a good player, to be honest. I know not those levels he's doing Napoli, but I always thought he was a good player. Anyway, it's not. Anyway, yeah, right.
West Ham and Man United, sure.
What did you say, Dan? I didn't listen to what your prediction was.
2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds. Okay, good. Right, yes. Right, lads. I've hit the 40-minute mark perfectly as usual.
Really good chat, that lads. I really enjoyed
Hour
that.
and 5 minutes in to our 40-minute chat. I'm sure Matty will echo all this, but obviously I think we're on our 9th show. I've made that up. It might be 7, it might be 8, it might be 10. I don't know. I missed one. Obviously, I was in Copenhagen. Anyway, that's not the bit Matty's going to echo. But yeah, we are new into this. We are, me and Matty, 2 fans that get together each week doing the show with a +1. We're loving doing it. And we'd like to thank anyone for their support so far, liking, subscribing. And any comments, any positive comments. We don't want negative comments because it upsets us. Any positive comments are great. Keep them coming. We hope everyone had a great Christmas. We hope everyone has a great New Year. We are back after the next 2 games. We'll be back next week. Thank you, May. Thank you, Dan. And we will see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.